Please welcome Mary Mitchell.
Thank you so much. You're not going to make me get up there. Appreciate that. So I am so honored to be here tonight, and I'm so glad that we have an opportunity to discuss the issues that Tangled has presented. I often think, as a journalist, I often feel guilty because when I'm in my office and I'm at my desk, all the stories of all the deaths and all the crime and all the horror of what's going on in our community comes across my desk. There's not one Monday morning that I can go in my office and not have a story about someone who was shot, some innocent person is killed, some young person dead.
Good evening. There are a couple of things that I've been thinking about, and one of the things, Ms. Mitchell, you touched upon, it's all of the things that you touched upon. So it's not an easy solution to the problem.
Right.
It's an extremely difficult situation to the problem. And since this is a discussion, and it's not we all have the same mindset, I want to disagree with some of the things that have said. We said, this young lady said, the problem, we don't know the problem. Yes, we do know the problems. We identify the problem every day. The problem is in our communities. The problems are all over. So it's not a matter we don't know. It's that we haven't quite figured out what to do about the problem. We do know the problem. And something else, yes, young people, and I'm not a parent, but I'm also taking responsibility. So it's not just parents. It's those who are part of the community are responsible for the community. And the thing that's missing, someone's missing, and you mentioned it, Ms. Mitchell, accountability, respect and accountability. At the same time, yes, love them, talk to them, treat them, but at the same time, we must hold each other and them accountable for their actions. When you hold people accountable and you give them the standards for which to live, and if they don't live to those standards, you don't dismiss them simply because they don't understand and smile. No, hold them accountable for what they are. Teach them, but hold them accountable, because accountability is missing. It's missing in a grand scale. Yes, I'm the community, I love the community, but at the same time, I want to be tough on that same community because I want that community to get better. So I want to hold them accountable for their actions.
All right.
I thought the young lady that was talking about the churches and being a Christian, I thought she made a very valid point. I want to back up a little bit because I grew up in Morgan Park, here in Chicago, Morgan Park community. And I've been living there probably about 50 years. I don't live there now, but my mother still stays there. And one thing I thought was interesting when we talk about accountability is that there is a street that my mother, probably from the beginning of when we first started living there, that she refuses to go down. And she lives at 108th Place, right off of Troop Street, and the next street is Racine. And she refuses to go down Racine because of a public housing complex that's on Racine. And I mean, to this day, and it's always been a trouble spot, one trouble spot in that project, are row houses. And when you drive down the street, she'd rather turn around on her street and go down Troop than just go around the block to Racine. And I think that that's a lot of, I told my mother, when I was over there a couple of weeks ago, I have a dog, and I was walking the dog, and she didn't even want to go that way to walk the dog. And I think that's very important because I say we need, when she said go out like the Jehovah's Witness, some of us just need to get out of our cars and just walk these streets. And we need to be seen. I had an incident, because that deters a lot of, just getting out of your car and just walk down the blocks. And I had an incident in a park that I live in now that I walk my dog all the time. My mother's always like being afraid. Well, don't walk the dog, be careful when you walk the dog. And I'm just not going to walk in fear. And I think a lot of us are afraid to walk in our own block. Get out of the car. Walk to the store.
Right, because if you get out